Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? Welcome to another edition of the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. My name is TJ Jones. Thanks for checking out the podcast. I really do appreciate it. On this edition, we're going to be talking about the Saints Hall of Fame. The New Orleans Saints inducted two former players into the Saints Hall of Fame: wide receiver Marques Colston and running back Reggie Bush. We're going to talk about that, but first, we got to talk about a new signing to the black and gold. Wide receiver Rashad Matthews. Now, for those that don't know who Rashad Matthews is, he is a 6 foot tall, 217-pound wide receiver out of Nevada. Now, he was drafted in the 7th round by the Miami Dolphins in 2012, and he played on two other teams after. He played for the Tennessee Titans, and he played for the New York Jets last year, and finally he is signed to the black and gold. Now, I didn't know that much about Rashad Matthews, but looking at his stats, I mean, he has a pretty respectable career going. I mean, he has 230 catches, 3,160 yards, 47 return yards, and 21 touchdowns. You know, not bad, not bad. I mean, he is not a elite receiver. He's a guy that, seems like he can make a play or two, and that's what the Saints need. I mean, the Saints need players that are going to make plays, especially coming into a year where everybody has their eye on Michael Thomas. Every defense is going to be on Michael Thomas, man, double covering this guy and making sure that he is not out there making big plays. So you're going to have guys like a Traquan Smith, guys like a possible Rashad Matthews to make plays, to move the chains and also score touchdowns. So this guy seems like that was his role on a couple teams that he played for, and I'm interested to see what he can bring to the team and what he's going to do in training camp. Now, he passed his physical. That was really, really important. And now you have to say that he is going to be competing with guys like Keith Kirkwood and also Austin Carr. Now, I like Keith Kirkwood. I think that Keith Kirkwood is going to be on the Saints roster. I think that the Saints like him. But, it's up in the air for Austin Carr because Austin Carr played in a couple more games than Keith Kirkwood did, and I barely heard his name called. I barely heard it called, and that was very alarming to me because when you have an opportunity, when you get activated from the practice squad to the real game, it's time for you to step up and do what you have to do, man. It's time for you to make an impression. And I don't think Austin Carr did. So Rashad Matthews can easily come in here and take his spot if Austin Carr doesn't come to training camp ready to play. I mean, it is a what have you done for me lately league. And just because you played for the Saints last year and you know the offense just a little bit doesn't mean that you have an advantage over a guy that just came in the locker room. So I'm interested to see how Austin Carr is going to perform because I think Rashad Matthews, a veteran, a guy that can come in and produce, that we know can produce, can possibly take his spot. So he better be careful. So once again, the Saints signed Rashad Matthews. Will he make the team? Only time will tell. And now it's time to talk about the Saints Hall of Fame. Two former players that we all know and love in the Who Dat Nation. Wide receiver Marques Colston and Reggie Bush inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame. First off, I want to say congratulations to both guys because those guys, in my opinion, they were two of the individuals that actually started the turnaround of the New Orleans Saints. Now, we all know about Reggie Bush being the second pick in the draft back in the day, man. I think it was 2006, if I'm not mistaken. And Reggie Bush, we all know what he did at USC, man. This guy was just electrifying. And just him being a part of the Saints organization during the time where Hurricane Katrina was going on, there was a lot of uncertainty. We didn't even know as fans if the New Orleans Saints were going to still be in New Orleans. As crazy as that sound, there were talks about them moving to San Antonio, which would have really pissed a lot of people off, excuse my French. But it's true, man. It was a lot of uncertainty. And when you had players like Reggie and a dark horse, a guy that nobody ever even heard of, a 7th-round pick out of Hofstra, a guy who played tight end, and the Saints took a chance on, a guy who just was a pick that could possibly make the team, he turned into one of the greatest wide receivers the New Orleans Saints ever had. And these two guys were the starters. I mean, these guys started it all, in my opinion, along with Drew Brees. I mean, these guys were the lifeblood of the team for a long time. Marques Colston, he was a very quiet guy. Of course, he had the nickname Quiet Storm, but we know what Marques Colston can do, man. Marques Colston, you line him up in the slot, and he can make a play. And he is by far one of the most underrated players in NFL history, in my opinion. Marques Colston played in the league for, I think, like 9 years, and he never made the Pro Bowl, which is absolutely insane. And I think one of the reasons why is because of his demeanor. He wasn't one of those guys that made a big fuss out of everything. I mean, he didn't celebrate knowing touchdowns. We all know the trademark crossing of the heart and looking up at the sky that Marques Colston did. He was a guy that just did what he had to do, man. He had a lunch pail mentality, man. He came to work with a hard hat on. He had his lunch pail, and he was ready to go to work. And that's why a lot of people respect Marques Colston, man. But it's sad that you have to be a diva in order for you to get any type of attention, man. It's sad because you have guys out here like Antonio Brown. I mean, they produce. But, at the end of the day, man, everybody ain't about to be all up on the TV crying, wanting to get traded. You ain't got to do all that. I feel like it's sad that you have to do those things just to be noticed. But Marques Colston, I mean, one of the most underrated players in NFL history. It's sad that he never hit a Pro Bowl because he deserved it. He left as the all-time leading receiver in Saints history. Congratulations to him. He deserved that. And Reggie Bush, I know there were some up and downs, especially him being in the first season with the New Orleans Saints. Man, it took a while for him to score his first touchdown. When he ran that punt return back for a touchdown, that was kind of the start of something special. Reggie Bush wasn't the guy that we all thought that he was going to be in the black and gold uniform. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. He wasn't the guy that we thought he was going to be. But, I mean, he did make some big plays. Some plays in particular was in the divisional round of the playoffs when the Saints took on the Arizona Cardinals, when he brought the bat out, when Sean Payton, the head coach of the Saints, gave all the players baseball bats, and Reggie Bush decided to run out of the tunnel with his, and he took it to heart, and he went out there and he just produced and did an incredible job, man. And he made some plays. But nevertheless, I still feel like he wasn't what everybody thought he was going to be. Everybody thought that he was going to come into the league and just change the game. Like, he was going to change the way people played football. And he didn't do that. He didn't. But I still have a lot of respect for him because, I mean, he contributed, and he was one of the main reasons why the New Orleans Saints are one of the most elite teams in the National Football League, and they have been since Reggie Bush and Marques Colston were drafted. But I would like to hear from you. What do you think about Marques Colston? What do you think about Reggie Bush being in the Hall of Fame, and also the signing of Rashard Matthews? Comment down below, like and share this video. This has been the State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes are available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio.com, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. Till next time, all I have to say is, who dat?